Example 16, solve the linear system in a word problem format. The first thing we want to do is read the word problem and then highlight key information before we solve the system. So you have Beth and Eduardo each improve their yard by planting grass, sod, and ivy. They bought their supplies from the same store. Beth spent $112 on 7 square foot of grass, sod, and 14 pots of ivy. Eduardo spent $89 on 14 square feet of grass, sod, and 1 pot of ivy. What is the cost of 1 square foot of grass, sod, and the cost of 1 pot of ivy? Okay, so to highlight the key information, we know that Beth spent $112 on 7 square foot of grass, sod, and 14 pots of ivy. Eduardo spent $89 on 14 square feet of grass, sod, and 1 pot of ivy. And what we're interested in finding is the cost of 1 square foot of grass, sod, and the cost of 1 pot of ivy. So that is where we get our variables from. So I'm going to call grass sod, the cost of grass sod, G, and the cost of 1 pot of ivy, we're going to call it I. Okay, so now we set up our two equations. I know Beth gets an equation and Eduardo gets an equation. Okay, so Beth spent money on 7 square feet of grass sod, so 7G, plus 14I equals, and she spent $112. And then Eduardo spent money on 14 square feet of grass sod, so 14G, plus 1 pot of ivy, so 1I equals $89. Alright, I'm going to use linear combination or elimination with this problem too. So I'm going to multiply the top. I'm going to eliminate the g, so I'll multiply the top by -2. Alright, so I have -2 times 7 is -14g. -2 times 14 is -28i. And then -2 times 112 is -224. And the bottom equation just comes down. So 14g plus 1I equals 89. Alright, and then we add the two equations together. So I have -14g plus 14g cancels out. -28i plus 1i is -27i equals, and I have -224 plus 89, which comes out to -135. I have to get I by itself, so I divide both sides by -27. So I equals $5 as the cost of pot of ivy. Okay. We have to figure out the cost of the grass sod as well. So I'm going to plug the 5 back into one of the two equations. I'll do it to the bottom. So I have 14g plus 1 times 5 equals 89. I have to get g by itself. 1 times 5 is 5. So I subtract 5 on both sides. 14g equals 89 minus 5 is 84. And I have to get g by itself, so I divide by 14 on both sides. So I have g equals 84 divided by 14 is $6. And it's the cost of 1 square foot of grass sod. Okay, so those are your two answers.